What's up, beautiful people? It's your boy Adedayo, and I welcome you all back to African Roots. I do appreciate everyone who reached out to me to find out why I haven't posted for a while. Well, it was due to some technical and logistic difficulties, but hey, I promise you that I'm back better and stronger. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Today's episode borders on how a self-taught slave with no military background was able to inspire a revolution and ultimate emancipation from France-led Napoleon. I know you might be wondering who this self-taught or self-educated slave is. Well, if you haven't guessed it by now, I'm talking about no other than Toussaint Louverture. Does that name ring a bell? I'm sure it doesn't. That is the reason why the exploits of heroes like this should be celebrated more often, and this is his story. At the end of the 18th century, Louverture led a successful slave revolt and emancipated the slaves in French colony of Saint-Domingue, which is known today as Haiti. As a formidable military leader, he turned the colony into a country governed by former black slaves, and he made himself the ruler of the island of Hispaniola. It is important to know that he was born into slavery on May 20, 1743 in the French colony of Saint-Dominique. He was the eldest son of Gao Bignon, an African prince who was captured by slave traders. At a time when revisions to the French Code Noir, the Black Code, legalized the harsh treatment of slaves as property, young Louverture inspired kindness from those in authority over him. His godfather, Simon Baptiste, the priest, taught him to read and write. Impressed by his intelligence, Bayon de Libertad, the manager of the bread plantation on which Louverture was born, allowed him access to his personal library. By the time he was 20, Louverture could speak French, Creole, and some Latin, making him trilingual. He had also gained a reputation as a skilled horseman and has a vast knowledge of medicinal plants and herbs. Most importantly, Louverture had secured his freedom from the Libertad, even as he continued to manage his former owner's household personnel and to act as his coachman. Over the course of the next 18 years, he settled into life on the bread plantation, marrying fellow Catholic Suzanne Simon and parenting two sons, Isaac and Saint Jean. On August 22, 1791, black slaves revolted by setting fire to plantations, houses, and fields, killing a lot of whites in an event which later came to be known as Night of Fire. This event convinced the 48-year-old Louverture that he should join the growing insurgency, although not before securing the safety of his wife and children in the Spanish-controlled eastern half of the island called Santo Domingo, and assuring that Bayon de Libertad and his wife were safe aboard a ship bound for the United States. Unlike the French Revolution and the American Revolution, the Haitian Revolution was driven entirely by the passions of men and women who had been enslaved for most, if not all, of their lives. Although he was free, Louverture joined the slave insurgency and quickly developed a reputation, first as a capable soldier and then as military secretary to Georges Bissau, one of the insurgency's leaders. His first move when he joined the revolution was to train a small group. He then realized that the Haitian slaves who now occupy the eastern part of Haiti, which is in modern-day Dominican Republic, were caught between three contending European forces, all of whom wanted Haiti for themselves. The French, of course, wanted Haiti back. Although its third article declared that the inhabitants of Saint-Domingue would henceforth be free and French. Napoleon, however, interpreted Louverture's naming of himself as Governor General for life as a declaration of war. In his memoirs written during his second exile, Napoleon explained this constitution as the final impetus for the expedition. According to him, Louverture knew very well that in proclaiming his constitution, he had thrown away his mask and had drawn his sword out of his sheath forever. To find out how the expedition championed by Napoleon through Leclerc against Louverture panned out, just smash the subscribe button so that you will be the first to be notified once the concluding part of this story is released. If this content has added value to you in any way, Please click the like button as well as share to your family and friends. Let's continue growing this channel. I remain my humble self, Odofi Adedayo, for African Roots. Adowaka.